You're so outrageous.
Hello, hello, hello. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. I'm just going to be honest. I watched the latest episode of Anna Nicole like 2 weeks ago, and I'm just now looking at my notes. I don't remember it. Basically, they were in Vegas. I made some notes, but let's just discuss. I took 2 weeks off, and I didn't like the feeling of that. I didn't like being away from Show Pony. This is something that gives me a lot of consistency. But, you know, my friend died. My apartment almost burnt down. Okay, here's something that happened. The apartment is back to normal. I got a tree. Apparently, it's causing even more toxins to breathe in, but I don't care. Too late. You know what I mean? Too late. I went back to LA for my Christmas special, SiriusXM. It airs Tuesday. That's tomorrow, assuming I get this edited tonight. And when I was there, I was going into my sound check for my special. I walked in, proud, happy, excited, prepared even, ready to take on the world with Brittany Bateman from Salt Lake City. And as I walked in the door, I got a text message from my neighbor, who can probably hear me. He said the fire department is back, and he sent me a photo. I'll include it. Yeah, the fire department was there, and they were spraying the previously burnt down building next to my apartment. So being away from this place and getting that message was really bad. Then the next morning, my other neighbor said, oh, hey, the fire department's back again. So I said to the building management, hey, I'm not around. What is the fire department doing there? And they're so snatchy. They're like, there's no fire. We're not informed of any fire. And I go, well, I'm informing you. The fire department's been back in 2 times in 24 hours. What's happening? And they go, there's probably a problem with the elevator. And I was like, well, I don't know why the fire department would be spraying water in the next door building if your elevator was broken. I also read an article that says that if dogs lick you like this, it means they're having emotional problems. Are you okay? Who knows? It's been a stressful couple of months. So I took a couple of weeks off. And even tonight, I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll take 3 weeks off. Oh my God, my fly's down. Oh, it's so embarrassing. Don't look at my clock. Don't look at my fucking clock. I almost took tonight off because I want to do one thing and one thing only, and that is rot. I want to rot until 2026. I have done so much this year, 2025. I moved to New York. My house almost burnt down. My best friend died. I moved out of my LA place, moved into this place, had to move everything back out when it got filled with smoke. I'm tired. She's tired. So I am going to get a CO2 laser on Tuesday, and then my face is going to look like ground beef until New Year's Eve. So I'm going to lay low. I bought 2 pies. I'm going to eat those pies myself. That's another thing. My diet is fucked. Beyond. Ice cream, donuts, pizza, candy, cookies, cakes, and more candy. That's my diet. I used to be Greek yogurt, boiled salmon, white rice, a spritz of lemon juice, some pepper, a kombucha. That was my diet back in LA. New York, pizza, candy, pretzels, chips, Tostitos, Cheez-Its, Frosted Flakes, whole milk, cheese just straight into the mouth from the wrapper. You know they call cheese fat man's candy. They also say that cheese releases a hormone that's kind of like getting high, which is maybe why I like cheese so much, because in 2 months, I'll be sober 5 years. I never thought I would get here. My life, I'm sorry I'm going to say it. My life is a miracle. I should be dead. Oh, Dad, my friend. Anyway, I've been watching a lot of Housewives. I've been watching a lot of TV. I've been watching Pluribus. I have been watching a heated rivalry with the passion of 10 Million Red Hot Suns. I realized growing up, I always felt like rom-coms were for the girls in my life, and I would always roll my eyes. Like, I get it. My best friend's wedding, Pretty Woman. I get it. But like, why are you going so crazy for this fantasy? Because like at the end of the day, probably not. You know what I mean? Like probably not for you. And now I get it. We had a little taste in episode 3, and now episode 5, the entire vagina has blown out. And I'm not the only one. I mean, look around. It's all anybody's talking about. It has given me, it's melted my heart. I love it so much. I cried. I watched it twice. I talk about it with my friends. And I finally feel like I have a rom-com. I feel like there is a show for me. I feel like it's so unjaded. It's so joyful. It's stupid sometimes. It's just great. It's like a movie for us by us. FUBU. It's FUBU. It's giving gay FUBU is what it's giving. I love it. Heated rivalry. Maybe I'll watch the entire thing over again. Sometimes I don't want to watch it because it's making me too obsessed. And I need a break. I'm watching Pluribus. I'm just so tired. I just want to rot. I've been reading a book. This book, God of the Woods. I'm almost halfway through this book. Now listen, I haven't been reading books. My friend David was like, "What's the last book you read?" And I was like, She's Come Undone by Wally Lamb in college. Like, I couldn't remember the last time I read a book, a physical book. Audiobook, that's different. I accidentally listened to a Reese Witherspoon book that I thought she was just reading the audiobook, but it turns out she wrote it. Oh my gosh. My dog is going to sit on Andy's fucked up rug. This is, you can't really see it, but this is Andy's $5,000 rug he let me borrow, and it's covered in smoke. It's waiting. The people that are supposed to clean it are just not picking it up. Isn't that right? Do you like going on the smoky rug? Okay. I'm fasting right now. Tomorrow is my second blood test of the Function Health exam. My first one told me I was 38 years old, not 48. I'm 10 years younger than my calendar age. My biological age is a snatched 38. So in 2 years, I'll be able to have a 40th birthday party. Destination, anyone? Yes, Anna Nicole. I will get to that. Actually, I want to show you something. This was sent to me. I got to work at SiriusXM a couple weeks ago, and I found this by Patrick and Paul. They wrote an Anna Nicole book. Look at this. This is like one of my most prized possessions now. I love it. I love it so much, and I'm hoping that they will be on this pod soon. God, the photos. Oh, and they're so young. They're so cute. Wow. Maybe the podcast will just be me flipping through this book and going, "Aw, I bet that would be fascinating, riveting. Maybe I'll win an award. Maybe I'll win a Webby." Wow, look at this book. Thank you so much, Patrick and Paul. Look at them, so cute. Thank you. There's that. Let's see. I went to my friend's funeral. I was gonna just catch you guys up a little bit. Went to my best friend's funeral. Maybe that should be a rom-com. My best friend's funeral. And like I meet someone hot. Maybe I meet a pallbearer. That was already a rom-com. A gay pallbearer. A balls. Yeah, it went anyway. It was traumatizing and mortifying and horrendous, but also really good. I realized why we have funerals. I didn't want to go. Nobody wants to go to a funeral, especially for such a close friend. But I realized when I was in the funeral, I was crying, sobbing, and just so traumatized. But by the end of the service, I felt totally different. I felt calm and accepting of this new life fact. And I realized that's why we have funerals. You know, if I hadn't have gone, I could have avoided it. I could have been like, "Oh, I don't know. It didn't happen." I could have just been delusional. It didn't happen. But when you go to a funeral, it becomes very official that person is gone. By the end of the funeral, I felt totally different. I felt like, oh, okay, she's gone. She's never coming back. And I was really grateful. I was so happy that I went. I reconnected with a bunch of friends. I sat next to my friend Sandra, who was my first kiss. She and my friend Aaron, who passed away, are the first two people I told I was gay. Backstage, high school theater department. I had sucked off this guy named Philip, who was I'll leave it in, who cares? This guy he was a senior, and he was in drama with us, and that was a whole situation. I was keeping this secret inside, and I was like kind of tormented in my head. And I'd also, around this time, gone on a date with an older guy who was 26. I was 16. I talk about this in my one-man show. And Sandra was like, she kind of called me out. I mean, it wasn't that hard to figure out. But she was like, hey, so-and-so, because she knew the older guy I went on a date with, blah, blah, blah. She was like, yeah, he said he wants to give you his number. I guess we hadn't gone on the date yet because he was just getting my number through her. He says, yeah. She said, yeah, he wants your number. Isn't that funny? And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so funny. A gay guy wants my number. It's crazy. And then she goes, do you want me to give it to you? And I was like, oh, what? No. And then we both stopped. And then she goes, but really, do you want me to give you his phone number? And I was like, maybe. And then we started jumping up and down. And then we ran into the other part of the theater, and she was like, "Oh my God, I knew it!" And this is a girl that I had my first kiss with, and she was so like excited and over the top, and we were laughing so hard. And then Erin, R.I.P., walked by, and she was like, "Can we tell Erin? She's totally cool." I mean, she was one of my closest friends, but she was like, "She'll be fine." And we told her, and then she started screaming and laughing and jumping up and down. And then she was like, have you hooked up with anybody that we know? And I was like, actually, yeah, Philip. And they hit the floor, passed out cold. I mean, they freaked out. It was crazy. But it felt so good to have friends that I could tell this stuff to. I was totally alone in my head and freaking out and beating myself up and questioning, like, what, it's too much to handle by yourself. So I can't tell you how important it was to have two friends like that, and to have one of them pass and then be sitting with the other one was just like, we were shaking. And then after the funeral, we went to a little reception. We ate some finger sandwiches and whatnot, and then they were going to go to the wake. They were going to have a big wake. Everyone was going to drink their sorrows, and I skipped that, and I went back to my hotel in Austin, and I hooked up with a guy, and I fucked him on every surface of that hotel room, because I feel like my friend would have said, you know what, go do that, if that's going to bring you joy. And it did. I needed to kind of like let loose. And it's someone I know. It's a friend, with benefits. But anyway, we didn't get to hook up when I was there for my niece's wedding 3 weeks ago. So we were kind of talking about it and like, hey, well, I was just there for the wedding, but I'm coming back for a funeral. Do you want to come over and like bounce on it? And he did. So thanks, Will. Oh, hi. So I did that, came back here to New York. When I was there, after I had had intercourse with this young man, in the hotel room, I ordered chicken fingers and a wedge salad, iceberg wedge salad, and a piece of chocolate cake and 2 full-fat Dr. Peppers to the hotel room, and I ate it naked watching Heated Rivalry. And that was when I saw episode 3. This is a couple weeks ago. So it was a spectacular night, highs and lows. Funeral, sex, and chicken fingers. These are the spice of life. Peaks and valleys, roses and thorns. And, a good way I was just there for 24 hours and I got a lot in. I was in mourning. I was grieving. I was sucking and sucking. I'm sorry if that's too graphic, but I'm just telling you my truth. That's what it's been a long 2 weeks. Brittany Bateman came and did my Christmas special. I'm so excited for you guys to see it or hear it. I watched Lurker on the plane. I highly recommend watching Lurker. It's an independent film. I don't know what else to tell you about it. It's a Delta and Flight movie, but it was out in theaters and I didn't see it when it was out. And it's just, I highly recommend it. If you need a good movie, watch Lurker. Kind of like not a stalker, but a fan, a obsessed fan with a pop star and the kind of codependent, toxic relationship that follows. I started watching Task. I then gave up on Task. Sorry. All right, episode 2, Anna Nicole Smith. Oh, I went on a date yesterday. So I met a guy at a party last weekend, a Christmas party. I walked in with my friend. I actually saw when I walked in the guy I dated in 2016 who turned out to be a secret prostitute. This guy, God, I was very chaotic. I had tried to get sober. I was relapsing. I was addicted to pill. I was crazy. And I met this guy. He was really kind of chaotic, but I was drawn to that because my life was in chaos. And a lot of times when you're in the throes of addiction, a lot of people call it pulling a geographic. Like you think, oh, I'll just move to another city and that will change my life and all my problems will be solved. So in 2016, May or July, I took a job in LA on a big show. I was going to show run and executive produce a sitcom for Bianca Del Rio. We did 2 episodes. And that was it. But it was a big break for me. And I was like, yeah, okay, I'm going to do that. I'm going to move there. And this guy, I had just started dating him like 2 weeks before I left. And he was like, I'm going to come with you. I'm like, yeah, fucking do it. Like the more chaos, the better. And a friend of mine who was also, I had worked with him in TV a bunch of times, and he was a sober guy too. He gave me this job. And I got to LA and he was like, hey, I just want to check in, like, I know you're trying to be sober and like this is a lot of big change, new job, new city, new boyfriend. How are you feeling? And I was like, I'm 100% fine. Why would you even ask? Everything's cool. I got this on lock. Anyway, within 2 weeks, I was buying pressed Xanax from a lady under a bridge. I was a mess. Anyway, this guy, I saw him when I walked into the party last night. The short and sweet of this guy is he was a secret prostitute. He was always he's like, oh, I have to go buy this Apple TV from Crenshaw that I found on Craigslist. He was always on Craigslist, which this is 2016. I guess it still existed, but like, why are you on Craigslist? And why are you going to buy a used Apple TV? He's like, I'm just like into like buying old tech. Okay. My friend Sanji was like, that guy is doing something behind your back. There's something going on. You don't drive to Crenshaw at 2 p.m. on a Tuesday to buy a $90 Apple TV when you could buy one for $199, a brand new one. I was like, yeah, whatever. Then I moved to Marissa Jarrett Winoker's house. I got kicked out of the apartment I was staying in because we had sex so loudly that the entire courtyard, it was like a Melrose Place type situation. The whole courtyard heard it. I think it was one of the times I tried meth. Listen, I was a mess. We got kicked out of that place. I'm a showrunner and executive producer of a big show, and I'm getting kicked out of a sublet. Like, chaotic. It was right behind Hamburger Mary's and right by the Gelsons. It was so terrible. That poor girl who sublet it to me, she was like, yeah, you're going to have to get out. My neighbors are pissed. So I went to Marissa Jarrett Winoker's house in the Valley, in her guest room, and he came with me. And I should have been like, you know what? This is too much. You go back to New York. He never had any money. And he had a 2-bedroom and he had a roommate in New York City by the Lincoln Tunnel. Disgusting. And he was so broke that he would Airbnb his room. Think about it. So this roommate, this lovely girl, is sitting on her couch, and every, couple weeks, some random person opens the door and then opens a lockbox on this guy's room and is like renting the room. She's like, you can't do that. And he was like, oh, I'm in a war with my roommate. I'm like, she's right. Don't do that. But he was a chaotic and talented lover, and hot. So then he goes, he's like, broke, no money, living with me at a friend's house. And, he's like, oh, I'm going to go to Europe tomorrow. I forgot to tell you, I have a trip to Europe planned. And I was like, how? You have no money. You have no job. Oh, he did have a job. He was in advertising, and his account was Maple Water. They were trying to launch maple water, like coconut water, like maple syrup trees, but the water, that was going to be like the water of the future, the next big craze. Oat milk, coconut water, maple water. Who wants to think about it? You run a marathon. What's the first thing that you think will quench your thirst? Some delicious, hot, thick maple syrup, right? Anyway, he was full of shit. Then he's like, yeah, I'm going to go to Europe. I'm like, with what money? And he's like, oh, it's just my girlfriends from college. He goes to Europe, not one picture posted, not one picture sent to me like, oh, me and my girlies on the steps of the Vatican. Like, nothing. He was like, oh, we're just so busy. He he was escorting. He was a prostitute. Then he came back, and he was like, "Oh, I'm going to go to the gym at like 3 in the morning." Which, by the way, I go to the gym at 4 in the morning sometimes, but I go to a normal gym. He was like, "Oh, this is how I know he was lying." He was going to 24-hour fitness in LA. He's like, "Oh, it's just, it's open. It's 24-hour fitness, literally 24 hours." So yeah, he would go at 3 in the morning, go at 1 in the morning, go at three, just all, can't sleep, going to go to the gym. But a little known fact of a bunch of 24-hour fitnesses in LA is they're not open 24 hours. It's just like fitness is a 24-hour journey. They close at 11. So he was lying. He wasn't going to work out. But he would come back in a jockstrap and he would bring donuts. I don't know. He was just so chaotic. Like, he was always bringing me donuts and then just like, I don't know, riding me into oblivion. And I was so over it. You know how when you're so over it, you can't even fake it. I was just like, "Hi." Like, I couldn't even, but I didn't know how to say, "I want to break up and I never want to see you again." I didn't even want to have that conversation. I just wanted to be done with him forever. We went to sleep, didn't have sex, went to sleep. And I woke up to him going like this. It was back in the day when you used the finger to open the phone. Before we had this. I woke up to someone grabbing my finger and putting it, he was trying to unlock my phone with my dead asleep finger and hack into my phone so he could see, like, I was like, "What are you trying to find?" He's like, "I just feel like you're over it. And I just want to like make sure and like see that you're probably telling your friends how much you hate me." And I was meanwhile like, that is literally every text right now is me saying to my friends, "Get this fucking hooker out of my life." Anyway, I walked into a Christmas party last week and he's the first person I saw. So that was fun. I walked in. He looks like shit. He was also wearing like a dress. No shade to that. Great, live it, live, laugh, love. So I was making the rounds and I thought, I'll say hey, like, "Hey, what's up?" And then he vanished. So didn't have to really interact with him. But at that party, I met a really cute guy. And I don't know if it's just a benefit of getting older, but as soon as the party was done, I texted him. I found him on Instagram. I'm like, "You're so cute. I want to go on a date." He was like, "You're so cute too. I would love that." So we had a date planned for this past weekend, Saturday. So on Friday, I said, "Hey, you want to come with me to see this show? It's like at 7 o'clock. Then we can like hang out." And I wanted to just let him know like what I expected from the date because he's hot. We had an attraction, and he's older. He's like 51. Like, we're old. We're old queens. And so I was like, "Yeah, here are your options. Like, you can come see this show. We can go see this show, have a quick drink, or you can just come over and sit on my face." And he was like, "LOL, oh my gosh, these options are amazing." He's like, "I actually thought we could have brunch." I said, "Brunch? I don't think I want to have brunch. Like, I can't think of a less sexy meal than brunch. I don't want to sit there watching you eat snotty hollandaise and bacon and ham and eggs and home fries and coffee. It's not going to make me want to get in there, if we're going to go to a meal before we have sex, I would like for that to be a bowl of lukewarm quinoa or a smoothie. You know what I mean? Just something light. I don't want, just think about it. So I was like, "Okay, I guess we'll go to brunch." And I said, "Well, in that case, I'll leave it in your hands because I wouldn't even know where to go to get brunch. I don't go to brunch. I'm not that gay who goes to brunch. So I wouldn't even know where to go except for cafeteria right here because they have brunch 24/7. And they do have a 24/7, unlike 24-hour fitness, who's not open 24 hours. Hi. So he picked a place and we went and it was such a great date. He's so cute. I like him so much. And we had a great time. He has a beautiful smile. He's really handsome. He's really funny, easy to talk to. I felt like I'd known him forever. And then toward the end of the date, he was like, "Well, I'm going to go to urgent care because my body's covered in a rash." And in spite of that being potentially disgusting to hear, I was actually like, "You know what? Thanks for being honest. That's too bad. I'm sorry that you're covered in a rash. Good luck at urgent care, and it turns out he had folliculitis. So it could have been worse. It could have been monkeypox. So I didn't end up consummating the post brunch, but I did get to watch him eat steak and eggs and lots of coffee and home fries, and be covered in a rash. And he talked about his breakup a lot. So, but that all of that aside, I'm super into it. So I feel like that's a good sign that there's something there. Because anybody else, if I didn't like the person, they'd be dead, DOA. But I miss him already. Like, he's the greatest. Okay, so there's that. That's my romantic life update. The camera's probably turned off by now. Okay. Anna Nicole, episode 6, part 2. They're leaving Vegas. This is messed up. They're still at the strip club. I can't show clips because the tits are out. The tits are bouncing all around. Howard gives Anna Nicole a lap dance. That's awkward. The bar tab was $900, and she was like, whoa. She can't handle that, even though, I mean, I'm sure E paid it. And then after the strip club, Anna Nicole's like, I want to go to a buffet. So they go to a Vegas buffet. All of this Vegas action on the Anna Nicole Show makes me think of the time that I went to Vegas with Michael Arden in 2005. We had just done Bear. We were kind of like on an off year of in between jobs. I was back in LA, and he's like, I'm going to come to Vegas. Let's go see O by Cirque du Soleil. So we went, and I smoked a joint in the bathroom and like got in trouble. And then we looked at the Grand Canyon, and then we had, we like went to this gay party, and we both met guys. And I was like, Michael, you can take the room. Because we were sharing a room at Bally's. I'm like, you can take the room. You go hook up. I'll just like figure it out with my guy who has a car. So we went and got another drink. We walked around the casino laughing. This guy was about 3'5". And I love a short king. The guy who has a rash, short king. Andy Short King. Love it. Can't get enough. Kip from episode 3 and 5. Heated rivalry. Short, thick meatball. That's my type. This guy was super short. And so then I was like, okay, Michael's probably finished. It had been a couple of hours. So we went back to the room. I was like, well, let's just go and we'll switch off. I think I had texted him. He's like, yeah, you can come back. But then he wasn't texting me. And so my thought was, we'll just go to the room. We'll knock. We'll say, hey, sorry. Just checking in. Like, can we swap? How's it going? Knock on the door. Nothing. Banging on the door. Nothing. I'm starting to get worried. Is Michael dead? Banging, knocking. Hey, it's me. The short king is standing there just like, what's happening? Knocking, a lot, calling. There was a phone in the hallway, calling the room. No answer, no nothing. So finally I was like, well, I'm just going to walk in because maybe they're not here. I open the door and we walk in, full naked. They're there. And I was like, wow, sorry. And they were like, sorry. And I'm like, carry on. We will go find something else. So then this guy goes, well, I have a friend who owns like a gay motel. It was called the Blue Moon, which is it was like a sex resort. It's not there anymore. And I was like, I don't care. At this point, I was drunk. I was stoned. I was horny. And so I was like, yeah, whatever, let's go. He's like, yeah, we can get in for free. We can swim. I was like, swim? I had just seen Cirque du Soleil. Let's go. So we went to this place. We changed out of our clothes because we were gonna swim, and this short king had a 5,000-inch penis. It was the biggest thing I've ever seen, bigger than my doggy. It was huge, and I was like, damn. And I felt bad for him because he kind of looked sad, and he was like, I know, kind of like it was an affliction. He's like, I know. Like he was kind of like, he seemed burdened by it, which like literally and physically, like his back probably hurt. We swam around a little bit and then did some other stuff. I won't finish the story. Anyway, it reminds me of this episode. We ended up, I don't know. He had a big dick. Okay. Then the meat of this episode is that Anna Nicole is auditioning chefs to be her personal private chef.
Wanted to, lose some weight and stuff. So I asked Howard to go hire me some chefs to come over and cook for me so I could decide which one that I wanted to use.
So there's a bunch of guys in there. There's like a Swedish, pastry chef and I could tell he was going to win the job because he was jolly, he had a big personality, and he was making like cream puffs.
They sort of took over the kitchen, and each chef had his little corner of the kitchen, and ultimately it was going to be a taste test.
I don't like fish. I really don't like meat that much. I'm, borderline vegetarian. But I eat meat maybe once every 6 months, and it's normally liver to get my blood,
The others, they were making weird things. So, like, the things that she was trying were lobster, strudel, poached salmon, liver, nothing that sounded that appetizing.
Anna loves soybeans, pickles, olives, and she has a craving. She eats she'll eat the same food for a month straight, 3 meals a day.
Fresh vanilla, no sugar, low.
Bobby Trendy comes in. They fight about the feathers. Howard and Bobby have a big fight about the feathers.
Fabric just does not seem right for the bed. I don't know if this is a sturdy material, but it doesn't seem like it.
When I first met Howard, he seemed very normal and down to earth, but as time progressed, Howard and I became to be at odds at each other because I felt that Howard was a bit odd to me.
This was a hole in the middle of fabric. Eddie, show us where that
Howard, it's okay. Howard, quit picking like a monkey. It's fine.
Anna didn't want any kind of conflict with Bobby.
Well, when you buy something, I want it to be good. It's good.
Should I get Bobby Trendy on this show? I'm sorry that this has been more of a life update and not as much Anna Nicole, but again, I didn't want to, I guess I'm not dedicated. I didn't want to rewatch it because I watched it 2 weeks ago after in post-coital bliss while eating chicken fingers and iceberg wedge in Austin after my friend's funeral. So those were my notes that I did take.
And you've got your nipples on still? Your ice cube nipples? You're gonna just keep those on?
Leave my nipples alone. If you don't fucking like them, go fucking squeeze on your dick. Yeah.
Why are you being such a bitch?
Why are you being such a bastard? Talking about my nipples.
Those aren't your real nipples.
How do I want you? If I don't want you to tell people if these aren't my nipples.
But they saw you put them in.
Fucking asshole. No, they didn't. Shower, just.
When I walked in, you made me feel them.
Take off. You wish.
It's on camera.
It is not.
We'll see.
We'll see.
We will.
Fine. We will. I don't even want to look at you.
Oh, good. Thank you.
But next week, I just wanted to get back in the rhythm of doing this pod, checking in with you guys, letting you know that I'm alive and safe and on the mend. And my apartment is better than it was before. It still smells a little bit like smoke, just a teeny bit. But with the help of this Malin and Guts candle, it's certainly improving. Actually, speaking of, I need to show you something. I know that last week, or the last time I did an episode, I talked about Dave's Nuts, my sponsor. I finally got my hands on Dave's Nuts. Here they are. Dave, thank you for supporting the show. These are Dave's Nuts blonde flavor. Let's see. Chocolate covered hazelnuts. Don't eat nuts. You can die. Dave's Nuts. This is milk chocolate covered hazelnuts as well. Delicious. Milk chocolate and dark chocolate. Again, hazelnuts covered in dark chocolate. Dave's Nuts. Get yourself some. Again, this is what I get paid to do a promotion. So if you have something you would like to send me, go ahead. I'll fucking talk about it. That's how easy it is. My dog is trying to scratch his way through the leather couch. Thank you again, Patrick and Pole, for this book. I'm so honored and so flattered that you sent it. Please come on the show. Let's do a full interview. Gorgeous book. Gorgeous, iconic book. Get the guy out of the woods. All right, thank you. What else do I have to tell you? That's about it. I should wrap this up because I have to get horizontal and start rotting. And then I'm gonna remain there until 2026. I want to rot so bad that I just become one with the couch or one with the bed. Like in Seven, you know, the guy who does Sloth, just like the guy who has just like rotted in his own feces and filth and excrement and then just becomes part of the bed. I want to be that. That is my goal. So thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Hopefully, no more fires, no more deaths and things like that. Maybe, yeah, I think things should be they can only go up from here, knock on wood. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I feel a little lightheaded. Maybe it's all the smoke. All right. See you next week. Over and out.